This is Friendly Fire.
Welcome back to another fun episode of Friendly Fire, where we talk about the console that we've been playing this last week.
Yes.
Well, some of us.
Completely been playing it.
My name's Dylan, and I'm here today joined by Elliott and Scott. If you're listening to the podcast, just a heads up, we're playing Danger Zone here in the background, so if there's any crazy remarks or whatnot, they're probably aimed at the game, like cars that are worth $300,000 or something, taxi cabs. It's because they're exploding, you know, they do more damage and all that sort of thing.
Yes, but it's the same car.
You get more insurance for it. This is
Not up more than the value of the car.
Okay, so let's get straight into it now. Let's just have a little bit of a chat about our, I guess, experiences with the whole process. So from the start now. Elliott, I'm aware you went to a midnight launch
Yes.
with all of the nerdy people.
Yes.
And
This is why I'm never going to a midnight launch ever again.
I waited for mine to come in the post, and Scott, you grabbed yours after work.
I grabbed mine at lunchtime.
At lunchtime, after
Same.
work.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
But
weren't
it was like
working at the
sandwiched
time.
in between work.
You weren't working at the
Like
time.
there was work on either side.
It was a work sandwich. Hey, now you're learning about the dollar signs.
Dollar bill, oh.
Oh, no, you broke it now.
Yeah, I did. I don't actually know. Did I do that? I don't think I did.
Oh, no. So,
I got it.
my process was pretty painless. I just waited for mine to come to my door, and somebody knocked, and I got myself a thing that I'd been waiting for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Is buying something ever really a painful process?
Oh, it can be. It can be if it doesn't work, or if something doesn't happen, right?
Or if you get really annoyed at retail people.
Yeah, well, Elliott
mean-
had a little less painful experience than I did.
Less.
More.
Way
More
more.
painful. Sorry, that was what I meant.
So how many people did you try and stab?
I didn't try and stab anyone.
That's good.
How many people did you want to stab?
A whole lot of people.
That's bad.
Essentially what happened, when I went to the midnight launch, got there 10:30ish, just so then, because I was trading my other Xbox.
Old Xbox One, yeah.
Yeah. Went in, traded that in, and EB being EB, it's like, oh, did you want to get anything else? It's like, no. Do you have anything else to trade in? No, I'm just trading this in. So I don't have any other games? Like, no, all my games are digital.
They're very confused.
Yeah. Because I'm essentially disproving their entire business.
Look, they
It's just how they make money, but
just need to sort of get up with the times a little bit more.
yeah.
That's all.
Resale's not a bad model.
It's not. But when they're trying to shove it down your throat, it gets really annoying.
Well,
Or you
especially
get-
when Assassins is still $99 in store.
Yeah, and you can get it for, I think they had it for $50 when you traded it in.
Well,
When you got the 1X, they had it for $50.
yeah.
And Shadow of War and Wolfenstein and
Yeah, all of the new things
Yeah.
with the 4K.
yeah, just 1X enhanced games.
Yep. So the experience, most people have probably already seen a unboxing online or something like that.
Here's a box.
We have a box. It's pretty good. There's probably not much point for audio listeners opening it up and looking at it, but
yeah,
it was presented nicely.
I was impressed by the amount of foam they gave you. Like they did.
They're looking after it,
tried to look after it. It wasn't like
Yeah.
just a small bit of foam. Like, oh yeah, if it breaks, it breaks.
protected.
Yeah, it was.
I liked the box that mine came in better than that box.
Yeah, so Elliott got the Project
Scorpio.
Scorpio edition.
So what was the difference?
It looks like the Project Scorpio edition, like the actual box that it came in, it looked like the original Xbox.
So the original Xbox was like
With
an
like the-
X, like it was a normal box, but it had like an X sort of cutout.
Yeah.
Hence the Xbox.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was cool. Honestly, I didn't even realise that I was getting it until
yeah, I knew about the special box. I'd seen that earlier.
I knew I was getting.
I liked the special
Oh,
box
yeah.
more than the actual
Whoops.
Scorpio edition. I don't like the green writing on it, but that's my personal preference.
I don't
And you're not
mind it.
using the controller, so
No.
you're not even going to see it.
I don't notice it that much because
So
now the power cable is shorter. I've had to move it to another section on my TV stand, which I can't see it if I'm actually sitting in my bed. It's beneath the bed head. So
Not that we're complaining about the power cable. It's amazing now.
no,
it
that
doesn't
is
have a
one of
brick.
the most impressive features.
It's good. It's
I
just
mean,
like, oh, I need to move.
I'm looking
everything
across
else.
at the PlayStation 4 and realizing it had it from the start, but
Yeah.
it was certainly made.
Well, I mean, did Xbox 360 have a power brick? It must have.
Yes, it did.
And I mean, PS3 didn't have a
No.
power brick.
No,
No.
So it's been a long time running.
PlayStation's always had an internal power brick.
Yeah. So.
Even the PS2 didn't have the
No.
thing.
So I just use the same cord for my PS3 as my PS2.
Yeah. Well, it's just sort of time for them to get up with the times, I guess. Good work, Microsoft. You did something right.
The PlayStation had for the past,
Yeah.
5 years.
Look, you
if
can
not longer.
you can take
Much
things
longer.
from other people and make them better. So
Yeah, I mean, Xbox now has actual 4K. Whereas
and Blu-ray.
Yeah, whereas Sony's just like, it's 4K-ish.
It's like
Like
if
it's
you
4K
squint your
adjacent. It's
so
like 3.8K.
So we've got the
Yeah.
box, we've opened it up, it looks pretty. We've got in there a month trial of Xbox Game Pass, which Microsoft is pushing because they want to move to that model. Which, if you didn't hear or see last week's podcast, go back and have a look at that. Scott and I were talking about early access, and we kind of started to delve into that a little bit as well.
Which is now the perfect time to actually have a look at it, which I will do because I think I'd like to see how it works and whether or not it's something that I would enjoy. But
Yeah, I think personally I'm going to keep
Uh,
it in the box until I know there's something I actually want to play on there, because there's not a whole lot on there at the moment that I haven't already played or I'm interested enough
Yeah.
to have it for a month. I'll wait till there's something on there for me. So it's staying in the box. 14-day Xbox Live Gold trial, which doesn't really affect
It's
any of
just
us because
meh.
we always pay for it anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's more hassle to put in the code and have 14 days of free anyway.
Yeah.
And it also came with... Oh no, then it was just the instructions as
Yeah, it
well
was
as the
under
other
the
thing.
three
No, we
cards.
didn't... Unfortunately, for some reason, Microsoft must have got lost in the mail, our Scorpio edition that was with all the games and everything. But that's all right. We'll forgive you this
I mean,
time.
how many games was that? There was like 10 games.
It was ridiculous. No, it was games that aren't even out yet.
so
Like
who was getting
Battlefront.
these?
All of the cool people.
Yeah.
People much cooler than us. Lots of influencers and stuff.
There's
so.
probably a reason for that.
Yeah, there probably very much is a reason. So we got it out of the box, and my first thought was, wow, this thing actually is quite heavy. Because I'd heard that it was heavy, but I didn't, until I actually had it in my hands, I was like,
Oh,
wow,
you guys are weak.
that has got some weight to it.
It's remarkable how much heavier it is than the original because I handled my new one
Yeah.
immediately before handling the and after handling the
The X.
Yeah,
X, and it is the dimensions are deceptive.
yeah.
There has to be a lot of empty space in the original. I would love to see one like opened up just because I want to see. I'm not going to do it because that's. Yeah.
Go ahead, Scott. Look, this can become a what's inside video as well. Give us your Xbox, and we'll take it apart.
Yeah, how about we don't? If anyone has an
we'll
Xbox,
be
I
able
would
to
like
see
to.
Master Chief on his Scorpion.
Yeah. All you need to do is just get a couple of screwdrivers.
Yeah, it'll be
That's all it
fine.
is.
It'll be fine.
I can put it back together. I don't know if it'll work.
It might not work,
Right.
but you can take the disc tray out because Elliott doesn't need that.
No.
So
You can have my 4K disc tray.
yeah, it'll
for
be
my
fine.
X.
It'll be fine.
That I couldn't find.
Imagine how much. Imagine how much they could have taken off of the price if we had have not. If they give an option for disc tray on their disc tray. Come on, look, Apple hasn't had disc trays in their machines for ages. We don't need them anymore.
Yeah. Man, I took the disc tray out of my PC 3 years ago. I haven't put it back in. The last time I used my disc tray was when I was installing Project Cars on my PC. And as soon as I installed it, I took out the disc tray and put another hard drive in.
Fair enough.
So that was about 3 years ago.
Wow.
So, got it all set up. like we've said before, there's no external brick anymore, which is good. The process was completely painless, as you would expect. You basically just pulled out all of the cords and plugged them into the new one and threw the other one in the garbage. But
Pretty much.
just on when we were talking about the weight of it before, Ada and I got a Xbox One S just earlier this year, and I mean, they look pretty much the same, so I was expecting about the same weight.
Yeah.
And I think that's where for me, I was like, oh yeah, and then I was like, oh wow, okay, this is actually heavy. So in comparison to the S, it does weigh a lot more. So we've got it all set up, and then of course you're going to have a day one update to do. Not that big.
It was like 800 and something meg.
Yeah, not even 800. It was 789 meg.
Yeah. So that was quite painless. Once again, that just let it do its thing. It's going to restart a couple of times.
Yep.
And as for like data transfer, so before I threw my Xbox One in the trash, I had done there was a thing about moving to Xbox One X, and you could it would like transfer all your profile settings and everything
that was a thing.
Well, you could back it up onto your hard drive, and I did that, and then I plugged in I had my external hard drive plugged in before I even turned it on, and after it did the update, it was just like my old Xbox. It was all set up and everything was there. So the only thing I've had with data transfer is I launched Minecraft today, and I was syncing up save data, which
took a while
just because my world's freaking massive. But other than that, like, it's just save data. How about you guys? Did you have the same experience? Scott obviously didn't, because he said that you didn't know that was a thing.
Well, I didn't need to. I just copied a few things off the hard drive onto the original Xbox, which I still have.
Yeah. You didn't throw yours in the trash?
No.
Disappointing. Oh yeah, this is the F1 car that I was talking about. It's pretty crazy.
But yeah, honestly, I don't think I changed any of the settings really too much on the original anyway, so it wasn't like...
Yeah. I mean, all of us still had to go into the settings area and change it so that it was actually displaying in 4K.
Yeah. That was the only thing.
Have you not done that?
That's a thing. No, I haven't done that yet.
Okay. Scott hasn't really used his Xbox yet. I don't know why he's on this podcast, but...
and now I take my leave.
I didn't really even do any setting transfers, because all mine was all cloud. It's just like sync all settings. Like, yeah, righto.
Well, I didn't have to do anything. I just before I threw the other one in the trash, I did the button that said backup profile and settings or whatnot, and it did that. And then when I transferred over, I didn't touch anything. It didn't have to do anything.
Well, all mine was already in the cloud. All I did was before I traded in, I just went restore factory settings.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, righto.
Fair enough. So yeah, pretty easy. So yeah, Scott, what you're going to want to do is you want to have to go into your settings and go into your display settings, and it will automatically be set up to 1080. So when you're watching your slow-mo, guys, you probably weren't even watching it in 4K.
It looked prettier. Maybe it was like a 4K placebo.
Yeah, I think it was placebo for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're just an idiot.
So you go in there.
This might be true.
For some reason, who knows? I mean, they've got a 4K console that they've defaulted to 1080, but you go in
because
there and
people don't always have 4K monitors to start off with.
That's true, but I mean, it should default to 4K if it's connected to a 4K screen.
Yeah, but they're not that smart.
Anyway,
if they did have it, I do agree. If you do plug it straight into a 4K thing,
I think it should be able to register what your screen
Yeah.
is. If it's 1080, default to 1080.
yeah, if it's 4K, then just
So
do that.
So that was, really painless. And then as for games, like where everyone's all worried about, there's going to be 4K updates and that, most things were done before you even transferred over in most cases. And
I think Need for Speed, I needed to do like how big do I think it's like a 500 meg update?
Yeah, I think that was the same with Assassin's Creed Origins when I had it, but I think it was already there. I probably should have had a look at the size of some of these games, but I don't think they're drastic at
Well,
all.
Shadow of War was 8.9 gig.
What?
The update.
The update.
Oh, really?
That's fair enough.
Okay. Well, Need for Speed. How big is Shadow of War all in all? It's like
I've got it here, just wait. Audio listeners, I'm just grabbing a disc that Elliott doesn't use.
because Need for Speed all in all, I think is only like 21
It
gigs.
says
That's not big.
it says up to
Really?
50
Yeah.
gig on here.
Okay.
How is it only that small?
I have no idea.
Assassin's Creed 3 is 13.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, games they're pretty.
I think. Well, Need for Speed is very. Honestly, they block off a lot of the area.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you can go anywhere except for
More
here
specific.
and here and here. Can I go here? No, you can't go there.
Maybe later.
So you can go.
Check back later.
You can go 3 places and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
And you like maybe one of them.
good segue,
Yeah.
guys, because we've got the games. I've just put a list here of the games that we've been playing so far.
Well, me and Dylan.
Yeah. Well, Scott hasn't played his Xbox because he's not a real gamer.
What is this?
Man, this
Shock
is
treatment.
this is the cool car. Now
It's like a Pagani Carrera.
I don't know what it is, but it's cool.
I want to move the camera around.
No, you can't.
That's stupid.
You missed the
It's only
dollar
half a car.
sign.
You don't get to see the rest of it.
It's not a real car.
Just crash it.
Yeah, now you get to see it. Look, it's all broken and stuff. So I've been playing Assassin's Creed Origins, of course. It's freaking amazing.
It's like a Ferrari cross with a Pagani cross with an NSX.
It
Sounds like a bastard.
Assassin's Creed's nice, guys,
It's like GTA cars.
and
So Assassin's
War,
Creed.
Shadow of War's nice as well. I like it.
Wildlands is really pretty.
Yeah, we played
Nice.
some Wildlands today, and it's a pretty dramatic change because we didn't play a whole lot of Wildlands beforehand, but we played
Yeah.
enough of it to know
Yeah,
what
to know
textures
what's
look like crap and what didn't. So
Yeah.
now it looks like all the rocks look pretty and not so
Yeah.
textury. I don't know. And you've been playing Need for Speed,
Yeah.
Payback.
It looks pretty, but I don't have anything to base it off previously.
Yeah,
It's just like, this looks nice. I don't know what it looked like before, but it looks nice.
yeah.
I imagine it looked nice.
Yeah, it looks good.
We're playing Danger Zone at the moment, and I've played this. I've done quite a bit in this because I did a recording in it earlier in the week, and then I've also just been playing it just for a bit of fun because it's just a bit of a time waster sort of game. Fun to just try. And so this game gives you 2 options at the start. You can either have it favor quality or performance. And if you're favoring quality, it'll run at 4K at 30 frames per second. And performance will run at 1080p at 60 frames per second. So we're currently running at 60 frames per second.
I can move it around now. Why can't I move it around before?
No, you're not allowed to.
Because you're a stationary object now.
Man, this thing is stupid.
I'm going to say it's pretty smooth. This game
Yeah.
plays pretty smooth. I've had it crash a couple of times when I've done a lot of explosions and stuff, but I haven't actually had like the Xbox One to a point where it's just not functioning and not doing anything. It will always be just, I think it's probably bugs within the game that are causing it to crash because
Yeah, I've had Need for Speed freeze like once or twice.
I haven't
but
had a situation where I've had to turn off the Xbox. I've only
No.
had to quit the game or like the game will restart itself
I
or
haven't
something.
had to quit anything. It's just been.
And then
And
it
now
goes
it's
back.
back,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I've had this one has gone back to the home screen
Okay.
a couple of times, and I've like blasted it back to the home screen because there's been all these explosions, and then all of a sudden just black,
It's
and then
just
it goes
all
to the home
physics.
screen. So
Physics.
yeah, I think of everything we've played, it's really early days. Like
Yeah.
we're in a weird time where we're going to be playing games that we've already played and that we've seen. And like you look at games that have come out this year, and there's some incredible looking games even before 4K and whatnot. So
Oh, yeah.
Look at Witcher 3.
yeah,
2015 still looks better than the majority of games I've played this year.
and that's where it's going to be like, I mean, just because it can be in 4K doesn't mean that games are going to look fabulous. The developers still have to put the work in to make it look good. So we're just going to have to wait for the really good ones. We've got a few. Just before I go on to like what we're expecting will be good and what we really are excited to play. I said earlier that I launched Minecraft and it loads a lot faster.
Oh yeah.
You
Nice.
played GTA for a little bit?
Yeah, I launched GTA and launched in like probably 2/3 of the time.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't super fast, but it was a lot faster.
Yeah, so
See,
those
that's a good thing.
those
Yeah.
older games that don't have enhancements and things, or don't have enhancements yet, kind of Rockstar do something.
No, they've been working on LA Noire.
It's a game that they've had for 10
yeah,
years.
longer than
No.
GTA.
It's only been 7 years.
Only 7.
Only 7, so it's close to 10.
Was it 2010? I can't remember.
I don't know what it is, but I wanted to play it when it first came out and didn't, so I am looking forward to, picking it up, depending on the price.
It's
$90 bucks.
Fuck that.
You might be able to get a deal or something from somewhere like Big W or Target or something.
Are they doing a physical release?
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's good that older games will you'll see a bit of a difference there as well.
And
So
Skate 3 as well.
yes, Skate 3 is apparently Xbox One X enhanced. I don't know how, but that's...
I didn't know they were still updating that.
Yeah, well, it's weird the stuff that you see that's been enhanced.
I
Some
suppose
say.
it probably wouldn't cost them much to...
Yeah, it's like we still need a skateboarding game because Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 didn't work.
Yeah,
God, Tony Hawk.
man.
I
Make a
didn't
better
mind it.
game.
Rip.
It was fun just to play with the bugs.
Yes, but if you're playing a game for the bugs, someone has fucked up.
You're fucked up now.
Yeah, it's a lot of taxis.
So yeah, obviously LA Noire is coming out soon, and that's a game that's I haven't played it myself either, Scott, but Brendan was big on it, and Elliott says that he likes it.
Yeah, I've probably played like 10 hours of it. I didn't get anywhere close to finishing it.
But it's still pretty easy, even if you haven't played it. It's easy to tell that this game is big on reading facial expressions, and the whole game is going to benefit by having better quality assets in it. So that should be fun for people that like that sort of thing. I mean, maybe I will even pick it up at some stage. Maybe I'll borrow it from Brendan or something if he's got it, and give it a go. Maybe he'll give me a whole new lease on life. But
There's some pretty big actors in that game as well.
There were, actually.
Yeah.
I have seen a little bit of it. A bit of a let's play. I
can
didn't
we
watch all of it.
can we get Detroit becoming
the
human
Xbox
on
One?
Xbox One X?
Yeah, come on, David. What is it? David Cage? Whatever? Put it on
I don't
Xbox One.
What is it?
Quantic Dream.
Quantic Dream.
We've got more power.
Yeah, do it. You just like Sony too much. That's your problem.
It's because they have a nice big bed.
Yeah.
So, very soon now, I guess, in a month, PUBG will be coming out.
Yeah, December 12th.
Yep, not sure what it's going to be running at yet. I think they're aiming at 1080 at 60
I
frames.
imagine
So
so.
will
I
they have a
think
4K
that's it.
texture, or will they just go...
They'll
I
probably
think
have a
that-
pack, but
I
I think they'll do it like the same as this,
Yeah.
where you can run it at 4K 30 or 1080 60.
Yeah.
And everyone's just going to go 1080 60.
See, the thing is, like, console gamers haven't really known much of 60 FPS. So, like, if you want to take advantage of the 4K, go ahead, play it at 30. But give it a go at 60 and see if you see a difference. Like, I have noticed with this game that it seems to be smoother at 60.
Yeah,
Well, isn't that the idea with 60
Yeah.
years? It's...
Yeah. So, there's obviously a ton of games that are already enhanced or have enhancements. We haven't played all of them. I've seen some footage of Gears of War 4 and
Yeah.
it looks pretty incredible, but obviously you would expect that from Gears,
From Microsoft.
Forza, and Halo. Like, Microsoft are going to do the best
Well,
they can too.
You can pick up Halo 5 and Gears of War 4 for $40.
Yeah, I did see that.
I saw it's like,
So is Halo 5 enhanced, or...
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
4K.
I've already got the update for it.
Yeah.
So
Maybe we'll actually play it.
Maybe.
I doubt it.
No, of course not. I think...
Well, no. We'll play Parallax.
Yes, let's do that again.
Playing
That'll
that.
be our first 4K video. We'll do Parallax.
Lyndon left the room in like 30 seconds.
Oh god.
That's how you know a game is good.
She would have been throwing up.
That was amazing. That was.
That was so much fun. Bloody Kristan hopping. Just All yeah.
I'll put a link thing up in the YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll put a link to that video. It's ridiculous. And then I also just chucked in here Sea of Thieves because once again Scott hasn't been playing Sea of Thieves yet, but Elliott and I and Kristan had played it,
awesome.
and it already looks incredible. I can only imagine with 4K textures how that game is going to
When
look.
does it come out?
I don't know, but I kind of don't want to play it because I was getting seasick playing it in 1080.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And I don't get seasick. It was just like, man, this is really weird and really doing my head in.
Wow, that's weird. Okay, so you got a bit of motion sickness from
Yeah.
it. We should play it in VR.
Fuck that. Let's do it.
Just
Like, I am fine with being on a boat in massive waves. Like, I don't have any issue with that. But
Sounds like you do.
well,
Well,
you could
I
do
was
something
fine,
else.
like, real life. But as soon as I was watching that, I was just like, man, I'm kind of getting a bit of a headache.
You could not steer the ship. You could do something else underneath.
Oh, I
or
easily
whatnot,
could.
and like
I think it was just
while it's really
with-
choppy.
I
or
think it was
something.
with the big waves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's probably why you like
could
the
be the
bigger
chef.
boat more than the small
Yeah,
boat.
'cause it
because
was
the
the-
little boat was like, whoa!
Yeah, I didn't notice it
The
as
big
much.
boat's just sitting still.
Yeah, I didn't notice it as much in the big boat. In the
Yeah.
small ones, it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
and now I'm going to throw up.
I think honestly some of the games I'm really going to be looking forward to is a lot of the stuff that's coming out next year, like State of Decay 2 and Anthem, and State of Decay 2 is going to take I think they will be a good one because it's backed by Microsoft, it's exclusive. I think any exclusives we see from this point on are going to look fantastic
Yeah.
on the console.
What do you
Like
expect them
They'll
to be?
want to.
so, yeah, I think that has got me a little bit excited. I don't know, like, do you think we'll see many games that release without a 4K option or without?
Nothing AAA. I don't think anything big will.
Triple A will always need to be 4K. Now
So
that you've
sorry,
got
sorry,
One X and
I'm a little
Pro,
bit ignorant here, but the Pro it doesn't run games at a full 4K.
No, it
Is
doesn't run a native 4K as super samples.
Okay.
So essentially, super sampling is so what it does. You have a 1080 display.
Yep.
And it makes 1 pixel 4 pixels.
Oh, okay.
So it stretches it essentially.
So
Okay.
it's basically artificially modifying.
It's artificial 4K. It's not a true 4K like the One X.
Okay.
So that takes less power or more power?
So
Less power.
Sounds complicated.
No,
So
it's less
that
power,
means
because it's only
the
rendering
developers,
1
even if
pixel.
the developers have 4K assets, it doesn't run those 4K assets. It
Still-
runs 1080 assets and then stretches them.
As far as I know.
Okay. So yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit ignorant when it comes to that because I was never interested in the Pro, and I just sort of thought it was.
Yeah.
I knew the X was coming out
Yeah, it's just super samples.
earlier on, so yeah. Well, I guess it's gonna become the norm pretty quickly, isn't it? The 4K sort of stuff, and
Yeah. Well,
like-
now that 4K TVs are a lot cheaper.
yeah, they're becoming much more of the standard than just your regular HD TVs.
Yeah.
You see even in most stores that 4K has taken over most of the places of all the TVs. It's very hard to buy something that isn't 4K now.
Yeah.
Unless it's like OLED or something that isn't... is it the OLED that wasn't 4K?
The first OLEDs weren't 4K.
Yeah, but now
They
they
are
are.
now.
Now they are.
Yeah, and the QLED, which is like the Samsung,
It's Samsung's
one.
which
Yeah.
So
I
they,
think
that's
the
all
same thing
4K.
or
Basically, it's like that's the darker black, so
Yeah.
the true black.
Because
where it
essentially
like turns it off.
how OLED and QLED work, you have it's a much deeper color range because instead of generating a black pixel, it just turns it off. So then you have the true black of the TV instead of having to have the screen still on.
Yeah.
And it saves a lot more power because you're not generating power when you're showing blacks.
Yeah. So I think we'll see it become the norm. But I don't think we'll have too much of an issue with looking at 1080 games and going like back and forth. Because there's going to be,
No.
if there's games that are 1080, it's not like you're going to go back and you're going to be like, oh, this looks awful.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be fine. Because I was only just thinking about it, like, today with, like, when we had this very slow shift from, like, standard definition or before standard definition
Well,
up to
480.
HD or whatever. Yeah. Like, I was only thinking of it because we're going to take this for granted so quickly. And I think, like, over that time, we were just like, oh yeah, things are looking good, and didn't ever really look
Didn't
back.
think of it, yeah.
I think now, if we look back to play an original Xbox, especially with backwards compatibility with
Yeah.
original Xbox, and they've done work to make them look better than they originally did.
Yeah, and they've done it to fit 16 by 9, because back then, like, your 480s weren't 16 by 9, they were 4 by 3,
Yeah.
which is a completely different aspect ratio.
So even when we were playing like the original Halo or Halo 2, and we looked back at the old like graphics,
Yeah.
it was pretty hard to look at.
Oh, it was.
Like, so I think
That's still better than what the original one was as well.
yeah, exactly. And I think what we're gonna see is like, you're not gonna get that straight away where you look back at 1080 and you're like, oh, gross, like I don't want to play anything in 1080. 1080 is still gonna be great. You're not gonna have a problem with
it's
it.
Not...
But if you do sort of play some of these things like we did Wildlands, and you see all the textures, and then if you were to go back into the same game and play it at 1080, you would probably notice some difference.
I think you'll notice the difference, but I don't think it's enough of a shift to be game changing. It's not from 480 to
No, it's
1080,
not from
it's-
480 to 1080, yeah.
It's like the differences will become smaller and smaller, and I think over the course of the future, it's just going to become, unless we have a massive shift in technology.
Yeah, but there's only so much the human eye can still see,
Yeah,
which is the biggest issue.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to make any difference.
Well, it's not an issue.
Hey,
Well, yeah.
Deus Ex will happen. We'll be cyborgs. I
Well,
might rip someone's arm
Oh,
off.
you're not even going to make it, Elliot.
No.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think that's an
well,
issue. I think that's a good thing. If we get to a point
I
where
had to go down there.
it really can't... Yeah, you were supposed to jump over and you didn't make it over.
I probably should have watched the intro.
But yeah, like if we get to a point where it's like you can't see anything better than this, it's like, well, we've done it, haven't we? Like,
Yeah.
we don't need to improve anymore. Just chill, people. Just enjoy it for what it is.
Which is why movies still only render at 25 frames per second.
Yeah.
But even though, like, everyone says, like, you can't see anything more than 25. You can. Your mind doesn't pick it up as well, but it's smoother.
Yeah.
It's more about the transition than
Yeah.
the seeing more frames.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's going to be a lot of games as they come out that we sort of look forward to, but I'm kind of just excited to see what developers do, because the power's in their hands. Like, I probably would have given Destiny a go if they... I probably wouldn't have. I don't know, I'm probably lying. But I think it's a little bit strange the way that they've capped it to 30 FPS on the Xbox, and that's purely going to be a deal with Sony, that they don't want it to look any better on the Xbox than it does on PlayStation. But yet it can run at uncapped frames on PC.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's always going to be the way, but I think that's a little bit silly. Like, as a developer, you should make the call that I don't care which platform it's on, we want to make our game run as well as it can and focus on the gamers rather than the console exclusive.
It's purely business.
Oh, yeah, I
It's all
100% know that, but I
A
just
lot of
think
things
that,
are.
to me, that turns me off them more than
Oh.
if they had have done it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it
it's...
still doesn't affect sales at all.
Yeah,
It's not
well,
bad.
it sort of does, because I'm not buying, isn't it?
Yeah. But
I
one
might be
but
special.
you probably
but...
weren't going to buy it anyway. Like,
Yeah,
you
but-
might have given it a go, but you would not have gone out and bought it full price. You probably would have waited until it's come down, or at least I would have.
Yeah, but I mean, even so, I think if they... Did you make it crash?
I made it crash.
Yeah! I think it's just because this is a very early game
Yeah.
that it's
Back
got
to the
bugs
main
and
menu.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Jump
so
back in. Oh, you're going to look
I'll
at the...
show Scott
So you go into settings.
settings.
Yay.
And then
Audio listeners, this is not
Display.
going to apply to you at all.
video output.
And it's
Display.
they're going to be at 1080p now because
Sorry.
we're currently recording.
Yeah.
But there'll be a 4K Ultra HD option in there.
And then change color depth to 36.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to get
Well,
to have it.
yeah, it'll be 36 for you. It's actually, my monitor is 10-bit. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I looked
Okay.
it up. And it said to put it at 10-bit.
Okay. You have the same TV as me, so I put it at 12-bit.
Put it up as high as it can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand the bits. We've gone way too technical for me.
All of the
Do
technical.
you-
Poke the button and make it go.
So this is a
You're not
valid point.
Mario.
Wait. This is a valid point. We should touch on this just before we go on. Are we getting to a point where we're nearly using a computer? Because the thing about a console is, and I guess you would expect it from a more expensive console, but consoles have always been,
Plug and play.
I don't care about settings and crap. I just want to play a game, and that's been the beauty of the console.
Which is my
Yeah.
mindset.
Most people that have a console, like, they don't care about the whole PC Master Race thing, more so because they don't care about downloading drivers, installing things,
Yeah.
doing all of the technical stuff that you have to go to Google if something breaks. So, are we getting more
Don't
to
Google.
are we getting more to a point now where it's more like a PC? We're
No.
adjusting settings in a game. We've got these things that we've actually got to go into the settings to get the full potential out of it. Will it get to a point that perhaps there will be more options, sliders, and you know how you launch a game on a PC and you can play it low, medium? Like, are we going to have that?
I don't think so. I think you'll have standard and high. It's not. It might be. There'll be.
Well, I
settings
mean, this isn't really standard and high at the moment. It's already saying, well, do you want 4K or do you want more frame rate?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's high or high.
different high.
They're just a different type. It's like, do
Yeah.
you want it to be crystal clear or do you want
Or do
it
you want
to...
frames?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all. I don't feel like we're going to get to that point just because, as you say, console gamers aren't that type of people.
Yeah.
There will be more customization, and if you want to use it, fine. If you don't, don't. But I don't feel that we're going to get to the point where we're going to be those people looking at Dr. Google saying, help me, I fucked something.
Well,
Yeah.
it's actually a pretty good point
It's
because
not the market for
it,
it.
it leads on to what I've got here next, which is who's the console for? If someone was to come to me and ask, I want to buy a console, what should I buy? Just because I have an Xbox One X doesn't mean I'm going to say to them, go buy an Xbox One X.
Yeah.
I've actually answered this question very recently.
Okay,
The answer is always, what do you want to do with it?
exactly.
And this person in particular has young kids.
Yep.
And I said, get a Nintendo. Purely because that's the type of game that he doesn't want them sitting down, playing anything. He wants them to be doing at least a little bit of activity, which motion controls with the Nintendo get. He wants it to be very family friendly, and he wants it to be... He doesn't want to do everything that we're going to do with it. And I just said, Nintendo.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's obviously very specific to the scenario, but I think, like,
I still want to switch.
if you're...
Mario Odyssey. Or
If I got a
Flathead.
cheap one, I'd get it. I'm just not going to go out and...
I just want Mario Odyssey. That's all I want.
I think Zelda would be fun to have a
I've
micro.
never been a massive fan of Zelda,
I'd be interested to
but
play
I'd
it.
still play it.
I'm not going to rush out to get a console for
No.
it, but I would be interested to play it.
No, if it came on sale, I might go on maybe middle of next year or something, or if I get like a bonus from work or something, I might get one. But
If you had the extra money, not
Yeah.
if you...
it's
It's
not
not-
like I'm saving up for one, but if I somehow fall into some extra money, I might buy one.
But yeah, I think, like, if you're talking to maybe not like a family with really young kids or whatnot, but you're talking to teenagers or whatnot, they probably already know what they want. But
Yeah.
like most of the time,
Most
like
of the time
I know
it's,
my
what
brothers.
do your friends have?
Well,
Yeah.
my brothers asked me once, what should I buy? Because I had an Xbox One. They thought, oh, it must be the best thing. And it was like, well, no. Me and my friends decided when the console generation switch happened, we said, are we going to go PlayStation or are we going to stay with the Xbox? And at the time, we were big fans of the 360, and we saw the launch and we saw all the things that people weren't happy with at launch. But they didn't bother us. We were like, oh, okay, well, you can't trade in games or whatnot, like, which you can do, but that was the original thought, was that you buy something, you've got a code that is then yours. Like,
Backtracked on that pretty fast.
we were like, whatever, that doesn't bother me. I'll buy a game, I don't care. Like, that was not an issue for us. That most of the things that people really were so against weren't issues for us. So we stuck with Xbox and never had a problem with it since.
You dragged me along for the ride.
Yeah, we converted some PlayStation guys into Xbox as well.
Yeah, well, I had my PS3, bought an Xbox One, and I've got a PS4 as well.
But I said to...
Same here.
I said... No, that's my PlayStation. So,
I don't see you playing it. I don't see you spending any time with it.
I spend as much time as you did with it. Except for it gets to breathe here. It's not living in a bag or a box.
It was never in a bag. It was never good enough for a bag.
So, and I said to them, what do your friends want to play? Like, that's the best way to make your decision. Like, have a look at what you need. And just the other day, Ada asked me, one of her bosses, who's a doctor, said they were looking at getting a console. And I think they've got some kids and whatnot. And she said to me, what do you recommend him to get? And I said, well, it really depends on what he wants. But firstly, does he have a 4K TV? And she said, oh, he's looking at getting one. I said, well, if you're going to want to play things in 4K, the Xbox One S is probably your best option.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to not play games, but play movies and content in 4K. Because I'm thinking like, well, you're a doctor and you've got young kids or something. You're not really a game enthusiast. You're not going to be playing these things and wanting to fiddle around with settings and whatnot. You just want to load something up and play it. Xbox One S is good, and it's cheaper than a PS4 Pro. Yeah. Which is your only real other alternative to playing something in 4K, unless you're getting a 4K Blu-ray player, which is pointless if you're getting a console.
Yeah.
And I think the Xbox One S is still cheaper than most Blu-ray 4K players.
For what it can do, yeah, because the One S, well, besides playing games, Netflix, Stan, anything like that, for what it does, I think they're like $50 more than a pretty decent Blu-ray player. Like, I think Samsung has like their smart Blu-ray players, which is 4K. Like the hard thing to find is a 4K Blu-ray player. Samsung have one, LG have one, Sony have one. They're all sitting up around $250, $300.
Yeah.
What Xbox One S is?
This is an Australian price, by the way.
$350, $400.
Something like that.
Yeah, I would say something like that. Maybe $370 or something. Yeah.
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 So even if you get on special, like the Minecraft edition one, I think they had it for like $300.
Yeah, they often do have really good sales on them. So, who is this console for? I would say personally, this is for somebody who plays games just about every day.
Yeah.
Which, I mean...
Hey, I play games most days. You just caught me on a week where I haven't played games.
You just caught me on a week when the console we've been waiting for has come out, and I've
decided
to
launch.
strike.
I mean, I only got the week off for it, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, Lordy fucking dog.
So, people that are constantly playing games, I would say, the game enthusiast, somebody who has a 4K monitor, I know all the crap about it's going to make things look better on if you don't have a 4K monitor, don't even worry about it.
Well, still...
Unless you're planning to get one.
Yes.
That's the caveat. If you're planning to get 4K...
No, well, I'm not saying, like, if you're going, am I going to get the One or the S... and the only factor is that you've got a 1080p display. That wouldn't be the only reason that you would not choose.
Well, it also depends on the refresh rate of the TV or monitor. If they've got a 60 Hz or higher TV, then get an X if you're going to be playing it a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you can run it at 60 frames.
Well, especially if you like playing sort of first-person shooters and that sort of thing, because a lot of those are going to update to play at 60 FPS. Yeah. So... that will make your experience better. I don't know. I think it's a console for probably the crazy people at this stage with the price of it. Like, you've got to be an enthusiast.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think it's just if you're just a gamer that plays on the occasion and you like video games, I don't think it's for you. Not yet. Maybe if it drops in price.
Yeah, at
It will
midnight
eventually
launch,
drop in price.
there was everyone there was pretty neckbeardy. There was, I think there was a couple of people that were probably just older guys who have always had Xboxes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was one really young kid who was there with, I'm assuming his granddad. But that was the only person who was there who was probably less than 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
And who was with an older person.
Yeah.
Well, it is a midnight launch. So.
Yeah, but still.
And also you're going to need quite a disposable income to buy something like this.
Yeah.
Like, unless you've saved for quite a while.
Yeah.
Relatively. I mean, it's...
For me, I definitely think the console's worth the money. I no doubt at all.
Definitely.
I pre-ordered it basically straight away after the Scorpio edition because I didn't want it. But
I pre-ordered the Scorpio edition because I didn't realise that it was a Scorpio edition.
But
like, 1X, I'll pre-order that. It's like, you getting that? It's the Scorpio. It's the difference. This. I don't care.
I don't see it.
Makes no difference to
yeah,
me.
well, I mean, for me, it's very close to me on my desk.
I
so
do like
would-
the lines of it. It just looks
yeah,
nice.
It's a pretty
Like,
nice
it's-
design.
It's very simple and very elegant, and I just like it. There's no, the fans, or there's no, serrations.
It looks
on
like a PS2.
No stupid.
It actually does.
Yeah.
The pinnacle of PlayStation design. It's
Yeah.
been downhill ever since.
No stupid, sandwich designs.
Was that a pun because of the slide?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Also, I
didn't
never
think
liked
about
that design because
It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. really.
you're just wasting space.
I mean, you were also wasting space with the original Xbox One because it was massive.
Oh, but but you can drop that thing and nothing will fucking happen.
Yeah, because everything just bounces around inside.
You can drop that thing off a house and you'd be fine.
So we're probably nearly coming up on time for the podcast, but
Oops.
a couple of other little things that I wanted to talk about. This is just speculation. This is just me making shit up, as usual. Future improvements for what I would personally like to see. Now, Elliott, if you could just quickly go to My Games and Apps. Audio listeners, I'll explain this in a second. Oh, no, you were right.
I don't like the new thing.
It's fine. You just don't know what you're doing. Okay, so in our games
chivalry.
in our
That's
games
an
and
old
apps section, there are multiple filters for how your games are displayed. There's a filter for Xbox One X Enhanced, but it doesn't tell you
360.
It doesn't tell you
Yes.
how they are enhanced. So I would like just, even if you press start on it or something, a little option to tell you what the enhancements were. Whether it's 60 frames per second, whether it's 4K, HDR, what they are. Because your only real option at the moment is to go to the Game Hub, and then once you're in there, go see in Microsoft Store. And then from here, it might not even tell you. I don't think it will for Skate.
I doubt it.
If you sort of then wait and then go down, see, it just says
One X
capabilities. It
Enhanced.
just says Xbox One X Enhanced. So it doesn't even tell you. So that's what I would like to see change, just so you know. Like, that's just a good thing to know. So as if you're watching on YouTube now, you can see that this is... what are you
So,
doing?
I'm saying if it actually says anything here.
I feel like it's not going to.
Okay, this is Wildlands now. Go down.
Yeah, it's still loading.
Yeah.
4K gaming, HDR.
And like Xbox One X Enhanced doesn't really give you a
It
whole
doesn't
lot
mean
of
much.
what it is. It's kind of like, okay, so does that mean what? What does that
Yeah.
mean?
Magic.
It doesn't mean it runs faster. Like, I don't know, all games should run faster.
Is it
really.
just frame rate?
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that could be a little bit clearer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you are watching, you can see that I don't have a whole lot of
Oh, for
enhanced
Christ's
games in there at the
enhanced.
moment.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I'd like to see. And then we sort of covered this before, but and we're already seeing more options in games with whether you want higher frame rate or higher resolution. I want that to continue. I don't want it to get to a point where I'm like sort of just filtered into you want to play this at 4K because you've got a 4K machine. Maybe I don't. Maybe I want to play it at 60 FPS or whatever. I just want to see that continue because it's there in this game, it's there in Assassin's Creed, and it is there in Shadow of War from what I've played so far.
I haven't.
Which I'm just going to go, because I haven't played it in 60, I'm going to go straight to the 4K.
Yeah.
And see, the thing is, for me, that's what I bought it for.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about 60 frames.
Well, I mean, at least if it's in settings, it's really quick for you to change between, so you can at least have a feel.
Assuming you know that it's there.
I think for FPSs, you're going to want to play more at 60 frames per second than... But, like, your experiences like Assassins, yes, you're going to want to look at those fucking pyramids in 4K, because it's amazing. Yeah. Like, you're just going to pick and choose, but I don't want the option to go away, is all I'm saying.
Pigeonholed.
Yeah. So those are just a couple of little nitpicky things that I would like to see improved over the future. Maybe they will. We'll see.
We'll find out.
But, I mean, yeah, it's not the biggest deal. You're going to load up the game. In most cases, it's going to tell you what your options are. But I think...
I think some developers will just keep...
I think games like Skate probably won't tell you anything when you load it up. It'll just load up like it always has. And it'll just say it's enhanced. So it'll be an interesting time to see what happens there, but...
It won't actually make that much of a difference to the game.
No, I would like to see what difference it actually makes. Like, it's not going to be 4K textures. It's not going to be anything like that. It's just
it'll probably be just 4K textures. That'll probably be the only thing. I think that's what it'll be. Or maybe high frame rate.
I don't reckon they've spent the time on 4K textures for a 360 game.
It's not too hard to do it.
Yeah, but it seems like gilding the lily at this point.
It's because they don't want to make Skate 4 and everybody wants Skate 4. Yeah. Who knows? But
that is Skate 4.
They just cross out the 3 and put a 4. Xbox One X enhanced.
Skate 3-ish.
But yeah,
3 adjacent.
I think we're going to see more of that. I think we're going to see older games that get enhanced, and you're kind of like, what and why? Like, why? I don't care
also,
anymore.
How and who?
But that'll just be...
The original Xbox One enhanced games.
I think they were doing some.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think Halo...
As long as they do KOTOR, I'm happy.
I think might be KOTOR, but I think also, like, Halo, obviously.
I hope they do Black.
Oh, that would be good. Black. The only 2 games I actually want to get from original Xbox is KOTOR and Black.
Yeah, look, remember when you used to sit and wait for a sequel? Now you can just wait for old games to be new again.
Well, they've made all the other games. They can't make any new ideas.
Yeah, they don't need new ideas. They just need every game that's ever been released. Just make them look prettier.
I just want Midnight Club again. I just want a good Midnight Club. That's all I want. I
good luck.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't the people who made it like?
It's Rockstar.
Oh, then no.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Oh yeah. So you been getting any high scores here, or have you just been mucking around?
No,
I think you got 200,000 on the last one.
That's terrible.
I just restarted it.
That's terrible. Well, I think that's just about covered our sort of impressions of the X. Somebody still needs to go and play it so that he actually knows. So we'll follow up with Scott next week to see what his impressions of the X are. And I think
I won't be playing this weekend though.
You're not a gamer. But yeah. Anyway, so I think that's everything. You guys don't have anything else to add?
No.
Nope.
Sweet. Right. Well, thanks for hanging around. If you want to watch this or listen to this in a different way, you can catch us on YouTube, Predictable Amusement, or the podcast should be available on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. It's called Stitcher, not Stitches. I stuffed it up last week.
I'll give you some Stitches.
I didn't know what it was, so should be available on all of those platforms. You can follow us on Twitter at Predictable Amusement, Instagram, and Facebook. So go for it, and we'll see you next time.
Sure. See ya.